All right, welcome to Beginners Academy. We have Roy, KM4ROF, a member of the Panama City Amateur Radio Club in Florida. He's going to give us pres a introduction to geocaching. So go ahead, Roy.
All right. A lot of people have never heard of geocaching. Some people have heard the name, but they don't really know what it's all about. The first screen I got here is from Britannica. And just like it says here, geocaching is an outdoor game in which players are given the coordinates of items hidden in their environment. Players locate these items referred to as caches using any device with GPS capabilities. Caches are small boxes that contain logbooks where seekers write their names, and they also contain small items such as toys, coins, which are taken and replaced with new items, similar to orienteering. And back in the day, there was a thing called letterboxing, but they didn't use GPS. People would give you a clue, and you had to solve the puzzle or the mystery to find the geocache. Um, the next thing I want to go to is this is the website on the internet, and you can download an app from here onto your smartphone, and the smartphone gives you a map of all the geocaches hidden around you. Now this is a Bay County area and a little bit of some of the other surrounding counties. But let me say something else. There are 3.3 million geocaches worldwide, hidden in 191 countries, 7 continents. There are 361,000 cache owners worldwide. And basically, how this got started was, the Department of Defense launched the first GPS satellite in 1978. And it took quite a while, almost 30 years, to get all the satellites up. But by 1995, they had a total of 24 satellites in orbit. In 1983, and this was since it was pretty much spearheaded by the U.S. Department of Defense, it was originally restricted for military use only. But in 1983, President Reagan made GPS signals available to the public, although it was low grade signals at the time. And so the closest you could get to an object or to at what we call ground zero would it be anywhere from 5 to 16 feet. Then in 2000, President Clinton allowed military grade GPS signals to the public, which means now using your smartphone or whatever, you can get within 3 feet of ground zero. Now, there are technologies used by the military that can even increase the accuracy down to centimeters. 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters. So if they want to send a ICBM onto your head, I'm sure they can find your head.
Up your nose.
Yeah, they got pretty good accuracy there. But anyway, so President Reagan, when he made it available to the public, it was on, let's see if I got May the 2nd of 2000 is when he opened it up to the public. So then this guy named Dave Ulmer came up with the idea of a GPS. He called it a GPS stash. And what he did was he posted on May the 3rd, well, I did it. Created the first stash, hunt stash, and here are the coordinates. and he gave the GPS coordinates. Lots of goodies for the finders. Look for a black plastic bucket buried most of the way in the ground. Take some stuff, leave some stuff, record it all in the logbook, and have fun. The stash contains a DeLorem Topo USA software, videos, books, money, slingshot, and a can of beans. He said food, but it was a can of beans. And this is Dave Ulmer. Later on, they actually put an actual plaque in the spot where he hid it. And there is a picture. Can y'all see that can of beans?
Yes.
That's the original can of beans that was in the cache, and it's the only surviving item from that cache. And here's some of the things I read out earlier. There's millions of caches hidden all around the world. Now, if you go back to the map, this is a app you can also download on your smartphone. And in the app, you can actually pull this map up. And you can look at all the apps. I mean, at all the geocaches that are all hitting here. And when you see one that you're interested in, you can kind of hover over it. This one says, oysters smile, don't they? Anybody have any idea where that one's located?
Millville.
Is it at the Oyster Bar?
Yeah,
Yeah, right across the street from Gene's Oyster Bar.
yeah, that's Millville.
Yeah, it's in Millville. Now, this one here you might recognize. This is called Making Waves. And if you click on one, it'll bring up a page kind of like this. And you can look at down at the bottom there, you'll see it says difficulty, type of terrain, and what size container it is.
Hmm.
And you can see who put it there and all that information. If you go up here, it says open cache page. So if you click on that, it'll open up the page. And you can learn more about the item, the actual GPS coordinates of where it's at. And if you look down here, you know, the club had asked me to put out some geocaches. And this is a little spiel that you can put in on a geocache. And so I pretty much copy and paste off the W4RYZ website. And each person who is hunting for a geocache, they can actually pull this up and read all this information. So that's how we get our name publicly out to the public. And that's why the Panama City Amateur Radio Club has a geocache contact here. This I got off the website. Founded in the 1950s, the Panama City Amateur Radio Club is a warm, relaxing haven for Bay County amateur radio operators to meet, chat, and eyeball folk they talk to on a simplex or local repeaters during the week. When it's all said and done, the hams of the Panama City Amateur Radio Club in Bay County are a great bunch of people. They're willing to help out others in any way they can, especially other hams with radio and computer related problems and questions. The Panama City Amateur Radio Club was very proud when our repeater stayed up and running after Hurricane Opal struck in 1995, Hurricane Michael in 2018, providing much needed emergency communication during this time of need. Many of the members were first to lend a hand for shelters in the area during the disaster and pitched in after the disaster during the cleanup process. The call sign used by the radio club, W4RYZ, originally belonged to Roger Spencer, signalman first class. He was one of the 317 survivors from the sinking of the USS Indianapolis on July the 30th, 1945. He was an active member of the radio club until his death in 1965. When we speak the letters and numbers of his call sign into a microphone, we memorialize the service of a sailor, the sacrifice of a war hero, and the life of a great American. Now you'll see over here on the right-hand side a little block here that says attributes. When you hide a geocache, the owner of the geocache puts these attributes on there. And each one of these means something to people that are hunting. For example, the first one there means that it's family friendly. The second one, you can bring children, bring pets. There's scenic area here, and there's people that have posted pictures of that boat ramp across the street. It's available 24/7. There's lights around there, and there's ample parking and picnic tables, all kind of stuff there that is interesting to people that are looking for something. Now I have some pictures here. Let's see here. Okay, all right. Anybody recognize that place?
Yes.
No.
Yeah. So they see that when they go to the geocache here and they click on the photographs, they see these pictures. Here's you recognize the little box outside the front there that's on that telephone pole. Of course, that telephone pole is a little shorter now, but that's where Making Waves geocache is hidden right there. And that young man is holding the, looks like the bag with the logbook in it and maybe some of the trinkets. And that girl is signing the log. She's doing her part. Now, I also have other geocaches associated with the Panama City Amateur Radio Club. This one here is on Jinx Avenue. Can you see the geocache?
No.
It's supposed to be a little bit of a challenge to try and find it. People walk all around here looking for something out of the ordinary. Now, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in here a little bit. Does anybody see
Yeah, I
anything?
see it.
Oh, well, what is it?
It's a box inside the rafters there.
Yeah, can you see my cursor?
Yep.
Yeah.
That is a little ABS plastic electrical box that I bought at Home Depot. And it's got the lid screwed on it. And I made it with magnets. Here, there's 4 little magnets in here. And so it actually sticks to the inside of that metal right there. And it's open in the back. I think you saw that. It's open in the back. And so it's kind of like open to the atmosphere. So, and there's, when you pull it off the metal, that's what you see. That's the goodies. And then there's another bag underneath there with the logbook and a pencil in there. So when you find a geocache, you're supposed to log in having found it. And you can also go on the actual website in your app. Let's see.
So it's basically like a fox hunt.
It is. It is. But anyway, you can go on the app and you can log that you found it, and you can make comments in there. People can take pictures and post them on there, which in a way it kind of spoils it because other people who are hunting for the geocache, they don't know what it is, they don't know how big it is or what it looks like. But when people find it and they put pictures in there, well then, like this picture here is actually posted by somebody in there. and you can see he's leaning on it. So if somebody is looking for that geocache and they pull up this picture, so that's what it looks like. See, she even gives it away by showing it there. We have another geocache hidden over by Deer Point Dam. It's in the Wayside Park on the east end of Deer Point Dam. Now, originally, I put it on a stump. In these bushes right here, in these trees, there's a stump. That I guess it got a tree got knocked over during Hurricane Michael, and the Parks and Recreation came in and cut it off and hauled the logs off. But anyway, I'd made a little container and I put it in there on that stump behind the bushes, and it was camouflaged. But I've had to replace it twice because, as you know, to the left there's a playground and kids are always running around here. Families are picnicking during the summer. This place is packed with kids. So when they find something like that, they don't know what it is. They take it home. So anyway, I eventually wound up. Let's see here if I zoom in. You can almost see it. See that little white spot right there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I did was I tethered it to the tree. It's a little tube with a cap on it, and it's got a stainless steel wire, and it's tethered to the tree so nobody can take it unless they got a wire cutter and they cut it. Let's see. So that's some of you may remember the previous geocache that was at the clubhouse. Somebody had made a cinder block. They put a jar in there, plastic jar, like a canister, and then they put foam in around it. And this was located back behind the clubhouse building, upside down. What you're looking at is the bottom. It would have been upside down. So if somebody had found this cinder block laying behind the building, they may not realize there was actually a geocache in there. Let's see here. So I took the lid off. It's now got water in there. But anyway, okay, so that's. Now I wanted to show you a sample. These are all the different types of geocache containers. There's all kinds. This is like a little Tupperware container, pretty much waterproof. It's got, they got the seal around it, and it's got locks around it that lock the lid on. Over to the left, these little tiny things aren't much bigger than a button battery for a camera or something of that nature. And you can imagine you can't put any toys in there. All you can do is take a little strip of paper and you roll it up and stick it in there. So if somebody finds this geocache, they have to bring their own pen or pencil. And they even suggest you bring tweezers because you may have to reach in there and pull that roll of paper out to sign it. And then you got to roll it up and put it back in there. This little container here is about the size of a 35 millimeter film canister. This is a little micro looking ammo can. You find a lot of these little containers. They've got a little rubber O-ring on there, and usually in here you'll find a little roll of paper that's rolled up, and there might be a little tiny trinket or something in there. People get creative. They take a piece of log and they cut it and bore it out and put stuff in there. I think that's probably what that is also. This is some kind of a plastic container as well here. And I want to show you some of the containers actually out in the field and give you an idea of what it looks like. This is a plastic container. That's the lid. And here's several other things that were in there. It looks like some kind of a challenge coin. But I'm just going to flip through here and show you some of the geocache. Now, here's one of the most popular ones, the ammo can, because it is completely sealed. It's very rugged. It can withstand the weather for a long period of time. So this is very popular. If people see this on the geocache description, they will definitely go find it because they know to be this size, it's got a lot of little trinkets in there that they can trade. As you probably read, the guy said, take stuff, leave stuff. The general geocaching rule is if you take something, leave something of equal value. So a lot of geocachers actually will create their own little box like this uh, and put a bunch of trinkets in there, and pens, pencils, tweezers, bug spray, hand sanitizer, hand wipes, things of that kind of tools of the trade, you might call it. And that's what they carry with them whenever they go out geocaching. So you find something you want to trade, you got something in your stash here that you can trade with. And then a lot of people who are more responsible type geocachers will actually bring extra paper, extra logbooks, and extra Ziploc bags, things like that. So if they come across a geocache that's gotten damaged, they will go ahead and replace the bag or the log, whatever they need to do to make it good. And when you find a geocache, you help yourself and then you put it back where you found it. Now, here's a smaller little tin can. I don't know, maybe some breath mints came in this one or something. But this would be considered a small size. This would be, this is pretty much a large size. Uh, Another large one. This is like a medium size. And that would be a large, large. Now I'm getting into, I got pictures of geocaches. Now this one is, the little magnetic key holders. You can use those. People use those quite often because there are a lot of metallic things around the environment that you can stick that to. Now, over the years, geocaching rules have changed a lot. When you go to hide a geocache, there's pages and pages of rules that you must abide by. And one of those new rules that just came out a few years ago is you cannot put a geocache near an electrical panel or a electrical transformer. So this may have been grandfathered in. You can see the little magnetic box on the back of that panel. But as of today, you cannot hide something like that again because it's against the rules. Here's
Well, that's
a
also very dangerous.
yeah. If somebody, if they really got brave and they started opening up these panels, they could get electrocuted. That matter of fact, I'll mention some of the other rules is that's came out recently is you can't have it within 15 feet of a large body of water because kids will drown. You can't have it within 50 feet of uh, a railroad track because people can get so focused on looking for this thing that they get run over by a train. You can't have it within 50 feet of a telephone pole. You can't have it on federal property like courthouses. You can't have it near schools, daycares, or uh, those preschools, those kind of things. So there are a lot of rules to hiding a geocache. You're not supposed to bury them in the ground because somebody they have if they have to dig for it, that's against the rules. You can't place it more than I think it's more than head high because if somebody tries to climb a tree or something like that, they could fall and break their neck. So basically, it's from ground up to head high is where you have to put them. Here's a medium hidden in a tree. This I thought was pretty neat. They took a you can buy these at Hobby Lobby. It's an artificial fruit. I
I
guess
hope
made
you
out
don't
of
bite
rubber.
into that thing.
And he apparently just sliced it open and put the little container inside of it and hung it from a tree. So I
Pretty
guess if you
genius.
saw this hanging in a pear tree, you might not find it easy. There's another large container, a large container. Here's a small container. It's got a log in it and may have a few trinkets. Obviously, there's not room for a pen or pencil, so you have to bring your own to sign that log. Matter of fact, here you can see they opened it up and they have their own pen to sign it. You sign the log and put it back in its location, and you go on the app and put in the app a comment that you found it. Here's a small container that's inside of a PVC pipe, and this looks like it's threaded. So apparently that cap was threaded in there, and so you just had a PVC pipe sticking out of the ground with a cap on it. Uh, so you unscrew the cap and you reach down in there and pull out the cash.
What if that's an active pipe and they take the cap off?
Yeah, I don't know. That would be dangerous if it was under pressure or something.
Yeah, especially if
Now
it
this
was.
one, I didn't understand this one. I mean, anybody can see this one. It's just
Yeah,
hanging out there in the open.
yeah.
Here's a medium one that's hidden underneath some concrete.
That would be very dangerous.
Yeah, if the concrete fell on you, I guess, but it looks like it's pretty solid there. Also, yeah, you always have to be aware of snakes, spiders, things like that. Matter of fact, when you go to the geocaching website uh, over here, there's actually a place, if it's out where there might be snakes and bugs and stuff, that would be one of the attributes you put in here. So people know when they go looking for this thing to watch out for snakes. Let's see. See where I was at here. Okay, that's a small container. That's probably like a medicine bottle, perhaps, that's got a little bit of camouflage on the lid. There's a large container. That looks pretty obvious to me. I mean, if I was walking through the woods and saw that, I'd know what it was. Here's one little container hanging in a tree. You'd probably have to get close to see it. There's actually the Walmart on 77. Uh, there is a tree on the north side of the parking lot that's got one of these hanging on the limb. Apparently, there's one in this tree. I don't see it, but it's pretty well hidden. There's a large container hidden back there. I think they stole my idea. There's a geocache in there. You can barely see it. Here's another one hidden in a tree stump. I can see that one, even though they tried to camouflage it. That one hidden pretty good. And they tried to camouflage that one, but you can see there's a little canister right there, about a film canister, looks like. There's one hidden in the trees, hidden in the stump. There's another magnetic container hidden behind an electrical panel. This one is obvious. I mean, if you walk into the woods and you see an ammo can hanging from a tree, yeah. There's a plastic jar, looks like.
This would
This
never
one,
work.
I'm sorry,
This
go
would
ahead.
this would never work in Vietnam. Nobody get near them things.
Oh, yeah, that's one of the rules is if you're using a container that's got writing on it about explosives, you got to scratch that off or hide it in
Yeah.
some way. People call the law If they even see you hiding something that looks like a bomb, they'll call the law to you.
Yeah.
Uh, this one is apparently a stake in the grass, and they've got a little plastic container attached to the side of it. When I zoomed in on it, it looks almost like a little water bottle with it. But looking at where it's at, you'd have to be right up on that thing to see it hidden out there in the weeds like that. That one's kind of obvious. If unless it's way out in the boondocks, you'd have to have GPS to find that one. They didn't want you to take that one. Here's another one of those film canisters, and it's just laying on top of this piling. This is probably underneath some kind of a pavilion because that looks like a light fixture there. So this could be in a state park somewhere, hidden under a pavilion. I think that's one we looked at earlier.
It looks kind of like it would be sort of a dangerous game to play.
Yeah, you have to be careful. You got to watch what you're doing. Common sense. That's a canister hanging, looks like it's hanging in a tree.
Has
That
anybody
one.
done has anybody done bad things like put something in there that might, scare people or give off a gas or something like that? Or has anybody?
Not that I've ever heard of it.
Mhm.
There are rules about what you can put in them, like you can't put any explosives or weapons, no knives. You're not supposed to put any food in them or anything that's scented, like lip balm or anything like that that would draw animals that would, claw it, try to get to it. There's a lot of things. You can't put money in them. You're not supposed to put any kind of money in them. Although I see, that's a small plastic container underneath, looks like a bridge. There's something under there. That one's kind of obvious. That one's hidden pretty good.
How about those artificial uh, dog poops? Can you put that something inside there?
Artificial what?
Artificial dog poop.
I didn't quite, I have a hearing problem.
Hey,
Boxes? Artificial boxes?
no, artificial dog poop.
Oh,
Artificial duns.
artificial manure, huh?
Yeah.
Uh, Now here's one of those little metal containers. It's on a key ring, and it's hidden on this pipe here. You see that? I understand there's one. The old Bailey Bridge they turned into a walking park. There's one hidden on that bridge like that. You see that bolt right there?
Yeah.
That
Mm-hmm.
that is another kind of a popular one. They make these rusty bolts or galvanized bolts. That's actually a magnet. And when you pull that off of there, you can unscrew the back of it and pull the log out and sign it.
Huh.
Okay. What if they start taking bolts off the bridge? Yeah.
Now, these particular ones are, they're stuck on with magnets. If you pull it with your hand, it'll come off.
Be too
But
scared of bears, snakes, and spiders.
what really gives these away is if you, for example, this pipe is probably fastened with 4 bolts. If you see a 5th bolt sitting here, that would be kind of odd. That to kind of have a weird. That would be weird. There's one hanging in the tree. It looks like a jar maybe that's buried in the tree stump there. There's that looks like a 5-gallon bucket maybe. I don't know. There's a container. That's a canister. Looks like. There's one obvious. You can see that a half a mile away. Here's a magnet one. Somebody stuck to a safety banister.
A
Yeah,
nice
see
one.
that?
Yeah.
So you'll find these magnet bolts like this one here stuck to like a banister somewhere, and you just have to know that's kind of weird. That's not normal. So you pull on it and it comes right off on your hand. I thought this was pretty ingenious. He's got a reflector on a pole, but he drilled a hole and put a little canister in there.
It'd be hard to find.
Now these are very popular.
Oh.
You see these light poles in parking lots. They put these metal things on here, I guess, to make them more aesthetic for the public, to hide these old rusty bolts and so forth out of here. But if you go in a parking lot and you lift this container up, there could be a geocache hidden underneath it. Matter of fact, on the south side of the Walmart in Lynn Haven on 77, back there where the trucks bring in their merchandise, you can lift that container and there's a geocache hidden underneath there.
Yeah, but there could be electrical wires under there too. Some of them, couldn't they?
Yeah, I have seen a few. Now this, the guy went overboard on this one. This is a geocache that's hidden in Romania. He built this box. It's supposed to look like an ammo can, I suppose.
You could put a
And
body in there.
you could hide a couple of bodies in that thing. Now there is another one. I've seen pictures of one. I think it's in Kentucky, Tennessee, where the guy actually built a box like this and put the lid on the end so when you open it up, it really looks like a giant ammo can. You have to. It's so huge. I think it's like a dumpster. You have to climb inside of it to be able to get the log and trade trinkets.
Yeah, I know the Ukraine should put those out and then put Russian writing on it, say geocache, and then fill it with explosives.
Even the government has gotten into geocaching. Here's a Florida State Parks official geocache hidden by the Florida State Parks. And this one, I don't know where this one is located, but there is one here. This one is located in St. Andrews State Park. And let's see, it's right there underneath that log. When you're going through the woods, you know where Sandy Point is there, Greg, where you do
Yeah.
radar rally?
Uh-huh.
Well, just south of Sandy Point. This is up in the high berm area. If you go over the top of this hill right here, that's the jetties on the other side of that hill. But there is a geocache hidden there under that log,
Well,
and it was put out by the Florida State Parks.
well, since this is a ham beginners academy, I see the possibility for geocaches on the air. So
You can teach Susie how to sniff them out.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, there are geocaches that have sensors in them. And when you get within a certain distance, like I don't know, I want to say 50 feet, the sensor will activate and start pinging. And it's just like amateur radio direction finding. And using the app, you can actually it'll take you right to the geocache.
Well, how do you receive it, through the cell phone, or is it noise?
It may be noise. I'm not sure. I've never found one myself.
Yeah.
But they are some hidden around. In a geocache, you got all those little trinkets, but some of the things you can put in there are what's called travel bugs. And you buy these off the geocaching website from their shop. Let's see.
Is there like a
Well,
world headquarters for this?
I think this website is it's run by a company called Groundspeak, and they are located like in I want to say it's, well, I'm not even sure if it's in the United States. But anyway, you can go to the shop here and buy trackable. Yeah, here we go. And you can buy trackable items that have serial numbers on them. And when you buy it, it's registered to you, to the cache owner. And the cache owner then goes and puts it in one of his geocaches. And then when a person comes along and finds that item, they are supposed to look up that trackable item, and you put a description in there. Let's see, oops, I went to the wrong page. I think it. Here we go. But anyway, you put the geocache trackable item in a geocache, and when a person finds this trackable item in there and they pull it out, see here it says current goal. I want to travel to all 50 United States. Will you help me? And so people will take it out of the geocache and they'll take it to another geocache. Excuse me, y'all. Let me close my door here because other people are trying to go to bed. I have some grandkids that go to bed at 8:30. But I want to back up here and show you one. This one here, this one has traveled 428 miles. And let me pull it up here. I want to travel to all 50 states. So if you look at the map on this thing, you can see it traveled from my geocache to another geocache, and it says number 2 there. Well, you can see down at the bottom here, it traveled from my geocache to another one called the original inbox. And then somebody took it out of that geocache and they took it all the way up to, I guess this is the Chattanooga TB Hotel, whatever that is. And they put it in a geocache. It's shown up here as number 3. And then somebody took it out of that geocache and they took it down to Birmingham, Alabama, and they put it in another geocache called A Meal to Remember. Now you see that line drawn through there, it's in red. That geocache has been archived. So either it went missing or the cache owner decided he just did not want to maintain it any longer. So the tag apparently at this point is lost in transit. We don't know where it is.
So that's your tag, Roy?
Yes, I purchased it and put it in one of my geocaches.
So if it's out in the open, it'll send out a beacon, or do you have to press a button on it, or how does it work?
That is just a metal tag.
Oh.
And if you flip it over, there is a serial number on the back.
Oh, so someone's got to scan that with their phone then?
Yes, they scan it with their phone, and it will pop up.
It's not like one of these AirPods that people put in their luggage.
Oh, no.
That would be cool.
Now, here's another geocache. And, trackable. It's got a serial number on the back of it.
I get it.
Let's see. Here's one I put in one of my geocaches, number 3. And if you look at the map, it's traveled 299.2 miles. And it went from Panama City, from one geocache to another geocache. Let's see here. It went from Club for Hams, which is the one on Jinx Avenue. And then it was taken to the original inbox. So 2 of my trackables has gone to the same geocache. And then somebody named the Traveling Queen Bee picked it up from there, and she took it to Crosby's Treehouse Church down near Orlando, Florida. So it's now 297.6 miles southeast of my location now. And if you go to click on that right there, you can actually see pictures of it. That's what it looks like. Looks like a birdhouse, but it's a geocache. So you can see that if people go to the website and they click on the gallery images, they can actually get hints as to what it looks like and maybe even where it's hidden. Now, one of the tips, do I?
What do you do with the birds if the birds are in there?
I guess you scare them away. But they pretty much tell you that if you go to the map and look for a geocache, pull it up and view the logs. And the logs are in by date. Over on the right, you'll see the date it was posted. And so you can look and see when was the last time somebody found it. And okay, so found it on the floor, left some swag, and tied it back up in the tree. Oh, that's the treehouse in Orlando. But you can go down through there, and if you find one that says, I could not find
He froze up.
it, it'll be said they did not find it, no longer exists, somebody stole it. In geocaching, we call people who don't, and they find one, they may steal it. We call them muggles, and from it comes from the Harry Potter movie. So whenever you're out and about hunting for geocaching, you're supposed to be discreet so people don't know what you're doing. If you're hiding one, you're supposed to be discreet because they may see you hide something and call the law that you're hiding a bomb or something of that nature. So you go in and you look at the logbook, and if you see 2 or 3 of them that said did not find it, then most likely it's not there anymore. And so they basically don't even bother looking for it because it's probably not there. Now, if you cannot find one and you've searched and several people have searched and they can't find it, you can actually shoot an email to the cache owner and say, hey, nobody can find this. It may be missing. So you might want to go check on it and maintain it. If you come across a geocache that's sopping wet, the logbook is sopping wet, something of that nature, or maybe the lid broke off and they can't put the lid back on, they'll shoot you an email and let you know that you need to go do some maintenance on this. So it's pretty neat. Sometimes trackable, uh, there's nothing to show. I put a trackable on my geocache, and here you can see that it says in the hands of this person, Zoe somebody. Whoever this person is apparently found the trackable, took it out of the geocache, and that was it. They kept it. And it says right on there, you're supposed to move it from cache to cache. It's not a collector's item. Although there are people who collect them. This one made it all the way up to Atlanta, Georgia. But when I clicked on the Blarney Stone, that I think that one no longer exists, or has been destroyed or something of that nature. These are pictures people have posted that found it. There's a picture of the log. And that's what it looks like, the actual cache container. But my trackable made it that far and then it never went any further. So I don't know if somebody took it out of there. All right, that's geocaching. My
Well,
grandkids love to go geocaching. It's like treasure hunting. Go ahead.
Well, do they kind of keep score of how many you found and all that?
There are. It's kind of like in we have work all 50 states and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
They do have. I'm not sure where to go look for that, but they have awards when you find certain ones or whatever. You get a little under your profile. You'll get a little star or badge that says you found so many. Quantity. You found 100 of them. You found 1,000 of them. That sort of thing. And there's all kind of geocaches, uh, not just containers. There are mystery caches as
When I
well.
did this decades ago, Roy, we would take a GPS, a handheld GPS, and you'd have to type in the lat longitude. Do they still do that, or do people just download it on their phone, press a button, and away they go?
Let's see here.
Like, how do you do it?
Okay. The app on your phone will look like this. You see all those?
Yeah.
So you zoom in on one that you want to find.
Mm-hmm.
Say mine that's hidden over here at the park. And on the app, there's actually a button that says navigate. And when you click on navigate, it comes up with a like a compass on your screen. And there is a arrow and it'll be pointing toward the geocache. And then beside the arrow, it'll say 30 feet.
Yeah. What if you don't own a phone?
Do what?
If you
You don't
don't
have,
own a
oh,
phone.
if you own a GPS, handheld
Yeah.
GPS
See,
like
when
a
I did
Garmin.
this, there were no cell phones. This is like 30 years
Ah,
ago.
yeah. When I
The-
first started, I used a Garmin.
yeah.
And you see on the left side of the screen, it says download GPX.
Right. So you don't
Or
actually
my
list
turn,
the
you see.
you don't list the lat longitude. You can't type it in yourself then. You got to do it
No,
through
I
the
don't. I
computer.
don't think so. I don't think you can do that on the app. But anyway, if you own a Garmin, I had a Garmin 600, and you can actually go on here and you go through and select all the geocaches you want to find, and it puts them in a list. Then you go over here and it says download GPX. You can download that. Well, there's a button that says send it to your Garmin
Yeah.
or
Although
your
I've got a
handheld.
Lowrance, so that doesn't work out for me very well.
Okay.
So
Well,
I
you can
guess I'm out
download
of
it.
geocaching until I upgrade my equipment.
Well, the standard data format is called GPX.
Yeah,
So
I'd
you
probably
can
work on a
download a
GPX.
GPS
Yeah.
Yeah.
file,
Yeah.
and it probably not only works for Garmin, but for the other type of GPS
Mm-hmm.
devices.
And
But once you
so,
load that, when you
yeah, you
load that
can,
file into your Garmin or whatever, you'll also be able to find them.
and I do that. I've got a Garmin GPS, the 76, and so I've got several of those that I still use. And whenever I'm out and about, it'll show geocaches nearby, and
Yeah.
there'll be dots on my little 1 by 1 inch screen, and I can see those, and I find a lot of them. and I never really take anything. I'll leave my name, but yeah, some of us are still using those antiquated things like a compass and a map, hard copy map, which in fact is a GPS. It is a geo
Right. And like
positioning
Chris,
system. It is a
Chris said,
geo positioning system.
yeah,
Yep.
if you know the GPS coordinates, which you can get right here, there's
Yeah.
a
Oh, there
GPS
it is.
coordinate.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you put that on a map, and you can find it using
Yeah, that's
a
how we
compass
used to do.
and a
We used to
map.
punch in the lat long right into the GPS.
Yeah. And there it is
Yeah,
in UTMs.
Yeah,
yeah.
UTM's even easier.
Yeah.
Yep. How about a 10-digit grid square? So that's okay.
I don't see it.
That Maidenhead is a
Oh,
good system, really, when you think about it.
Now, when a geocacher, a cache owner wants to hide a geocache, there's a long procedure he has to go through. He actually has to go out, place the geocache, get the GPS coordinates, and then he goes in and he puts in all the attributes for the cache, like the difficulty of how hard it is to find it. Is it in flat level terrain, or is it in mountains, or wherever it's at? He's got to put in what size it is, and all these attributes down here. He has to put those in, and then he submits that to what they call a geocache reviewer. And I think the reviewer for our area, I think, is in Tallahassee. And that person don't necessarily go to every geocache and see what you hid. They pretty much have to take your word for it, but they give you approval once they approve your geocache. Then they will actually uh, give it. You see the number at the top right there says GC9VTMC. Every geocache has a serial number that starts out like that with GC, the geocache number. And once they post it on the geocaching website, it's official then.
yeah.
But they'll come back and tell you if you put down here that it's available 24/7 and you put it in a wayside park. I've actually I did that, and because I didn't realize that wayside park by Deer Point Dam is actually sun up to sundown. You're not supposed to be in that park after dark. I did not know that, and I did not see a sign that posted that. So I put down it was available 24/7, and the reviewer came back and said, nope, that's
Wow.
sun up to sundown. So you got to take that attribute off of it.
So they watch that.
Yeah, so they look at what you submit, and they determine whether or not it's a good geocache, and they have the final word. And you may have to email back and forth with the reviewer several times. They'll ask you questions, and you have to submit answers. Speaking of that, one of the new rules that came up here a few years ago is if you hide a geocache on private property, you now have to submit the property owner's name and his phone number. So the reviewer can call the property owner to verify, did you give this person permission to hide the geocache on your property? And are you aware that there are going to be strangers walking all over your property, trampling on your flower beds, and trampling on your grass, and all this, looking for this little container? Are you aware of that? And all that kind of stuff. So they make sure that they police this pretty well. And you'll notice up here on the website that 25 geocaching is celebrating their 25th anniversary this year. Well, anybody have any questions?
Well, I look forward to doing this with my grandkids. They're like 6 and 7, so they should
Yeah,
enjoy it.
Mine are 14 and 9, and they love going out with me and hunting for these things. Uh, they love to hunt. It's like an Easter egg hunt, treasure hunt, all rolled up into one. And then they like to open it up and see what kind of trinkets they can trade.
Uh,
My wife likes challenges like this. Maybe I'll get her started on that.
Yeah.
Once I get her attention enough to me explain it to her, because she doesn't like me to be telling her nothing. But once she
well,
realizes it's fun, then she goes crazy over it.
well, we got this recorded, so you won't have to say a word.
No, that's
Uh,
just
well,
yeah.
when I was a kid, I found a buried trash can with wine and liquor in it. So that was an
What
early start. That's right.
So you
is
say this is
that? Is that why? Is that why you belong to Alcohol Anonymous now?
so this has been on for 25 years because I remember doing one with my son about 20 years ago. So it was probably just in its beginning then. I don't
Well,
think there was any, well, there was no internet then, so there was no website to find out. I forget how we found out where they were. Yeah, it must have been on the internet, but in the very beginning of the internet, just basic stuff. They had the location, that was it.
Yeah.
well, I learned a lot about this. I heard geocache. But Roy, you're pretty informative
Yeah.
about this. They really cleared everything up for me.
Yep.
Well,
This is one of my personal ones. It's hidden up here on the Florida Scenic Hiking Trail off Highway 20,
well,
where the trailhead hits Highway 20 between
yeah.
77 and 231.
Well,
Uh,
yeah, that spot you can do parks on the air from that spot because it's
right.
on the list.
I wonder if we could use one geocache location to the other location to do radar.
I'd say, yeah. Oh, we
Yeah,
could combine it. Yes.
yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm over here on this one, and I'm over on that one.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, Roy, I really appreciate you volunteering to enlighten us about geocaching.
Yeah, I think it took a little longer than I had planned.
No, it's all good, and we'll roll this out to our YouTube channel. And we usually do amateur radio topics, but tonight it was something very interesting, geocaching.
Yeah, it's the way the club gets their name out to the public.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate it, Roy. All right. 73 in ham talk. All right, here we go.